Let's go back to the latest effort by the federal government to curtail spending and cut the cost of governance. We're now joined by Jide Benson. He is a public affairs commentator. Thank you very much, Jide, for giving us your time.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
In January, the presidency announced a slash in a number of personnel deployed with federal delegation. Now we have this directive that, you have to take permission before you can travel, and you cannot travel at least for the next 3 months. Is this, in your view, an effort or more is needed?
Yes, it's a good effort. It's an austerity measure. If you cast your mind back to the 1979 democratic experience, when government introduced austerity measures, we're in a similar time. We're in a similar time now. So what the government has done is to introduce austerity measure. Well, however, it's a temporary one and maybe late in the day, but it's still a step in the right direction. It means that the government is listening to what the people are saying and it's taking action based on them. However, it's left to be seen whether this will be adhered to, because the circular also states that they should ask for permission about 2 weeks ahead. So
that's another part that I find kind of curious. Should the presidency be giving permission to parastatals that are supposed to have some sort of independence and decide whether a trip is necessary for the growth of the department or agency? Wouldn't that be maybe it taking even more responsibility on itself?
Well,
micromanaging.
No agency. Say that again, please.
No, I was just trying to concise it to micromanaging. Should the presidency be micromanaging?
Well, if they're micromanaging at this time, it's deserving. The situation demands it. Any effort to reduce the cost of governance is welcome. And by the way, no agency is too independent or is that independent that is independent of the federal government or the presidency. Every agency reports to the presidency in one form or the other, whether directly or through the secretary to the government of the federation or the vice president or a minister or what have you. So yes, it is micromanaging in one form, but the situation demands it. And really, I think that whatever meetings need to be held outside of Nigeria now, most meetings have a virtual format. Almost every meeting that is important these days are held in hybrid format. So, it will help the ministers to become slightly more techy, or at least they would make their aides do the work that they're supposed to do so they can attend those sessions virtually and make their contributions.
Many Nigerians have been calling on this administration to lead by example and cut cost of living. Would this action now and the one that the government took in January for you stand as leading by example?
Well, it will. So I'm going to go back to the point about the January decision by the president to slash the entourage of his trips and that of the vice president and their wives. For me, I didn't see that as practicable, because wherever the president is going to travel, there are certain statutory people that have to be with him. This is not including the ministers. His security details alone and some of his personal aides that need to be on every trip that he goes to, whether it is foreign or local. I think it already exceeds the numbers that was attached to his office. So I don't see that as practicable. And since then, the few trips that he has made, and including the vice president, carefully enough or tactically enough, they've been able to take that away from the eyes of the media or from the public. So they've done a good job of shutting the public up in that regard.
Jide, thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time.